The short story Two Kinds by Amy Tan. In her short story Two Kinds, Amy Tan uses the influence of past events on present life, language subtleties, and daughter centrality to explain why the characters are in conflict and how it is exacerbated. The story revolves around Jing-Mei, an ethnic Chinese girl born into a family of Chinese immigrants to the United States. This setup lays the foundation for the author's first technique, referencing the characters' past to accentuate their present dilemma. Two Kinds opens with Jing-Mei narrating her mother's biography, her flight from communist China to the United States. Most prominently, this technique is used during the climactic confrontation between Jing-Mei and her mother when Jing-Mei's long-deceased sisters are mentioned. It forces the mother to change her attitude completely and never speak of the reason for that conflict again. The use of this technique leads to the development of the idea that past events have a long-lasting effect on people's lives. The second technique is using different languages to emphasize cultural differences between characters. In Amy Tan's writing, Chang notes that language is presented as a major gap between mothers and daughters. Since Jing-Mei's mother is Chinese-born, it is reasonable to expect lingual subtleties that distinguish her foreign origin. This aspect becomes especially noteworthy during Jing-Mei's recollection of dialogues with her mother. The narration is in English, but some of the words from Jing-Mei's mother are not translated. Specifically, the phrase heighten is used on 3 occasions. It should be noted that this is not a Chinese linguistic subtlety that cannot be expressed in another language. The meaning of this phrase can be interpreted as you watch. In all 3 cases, there is no necessity to avoid using the English language. Amy Tan uses the Chinese word specifically to accentuate how Jing-Mei recalls her mother's words and the gap between them. This technique conveys the idea that the way someone speaks may sound like a foreign language to the person who disagrees with what is said. The third technique Amy Tan uses is what Hume refers to as daughter centrality in the relationship between mother and daughter. The story is clearly presented to make readers empathize with the daughter. The fact that the overall narration is first person further focuses the audience's attention on Jing-Mei as a protagonist. However, this setup also conveys the daughter's bias against her mother. Over the course of the story, Jing-Mei's mother projects her dreams on Jing-Mei, which is a recurring theme. First, there is an attempt to make Jing-Mei look like Shirley Temple. Then, her mother wanted her to accurately recall and correctly pronounce all capitals. Finally, the mother forces Jing-Mei to learn to play piano. In each instance, the narrative pushes the audience to feel sorry for Jing-Mei and blame her mother. However, the use of daughter centrality also underscores the possibility that Jing-Mei may actually be wrong in her assessment of her mother. The first sign appears when Jing-Mei asks herself why her mother has stopped. The story's resolution indicates that Jing-Mei finally understood her mother's perspective when she found out what piece her mother had wanted her to play all along. This technique underscores the idea that narrating a story from a particular person's viewpoint does not make that person right. Combined together, the importance of the past, language subtleties, and first-person narration make the audience believe that Jing-Mei is also a flawed character.